What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you. Another one, and this one is the Changeling episode. What is this? Number 4 already, right? Episode 4, deep dive, breakdown, theories. We're going to get into all of it in this stream. You know what I mean? We're going to take care of everything like that, everything that you have questions for. Again, it's a call-in live stream. So that means you can call me up. The number is in the call right there, 518-290-0848. Make sure you call up if you have some questions, if you have a theory, anything else like that. You know what I mean? Make sure you get down and do that. Do it like you do it, baby. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for and everything. Let me thank everyone for rocking with me coming again. We'll be doing these 2 days a week, dropping these live streams out there for you so that you have the opportunity to express what you feel about this. You know what I mean? And that is what it is. Let's start off with this episode 4 as a whole. I would say that most likely it was a little bit slower than the other episodes, I would say, but I do think we had a lot of good expose in it. And I think we learned a lot of new things in this episode. One of those episodes that I'm sure people are wanting some type of, you know what I mean? I'm sure people wanting some action, this, that, and the other. I don't think it's that type of show. I think you're going to get a lot of mystery. I think you're going to get a lot of intrigue. But I don't think you're going to get a lot of, all these other things. But we got a lot of things to talk about and stuff and everything else. Let me say what up to the people who are here early with us, rocking with us. And I appreciate yours. She does the most. She's in the building rocking with us right now. 08 Cali is in this piece rocking with us. Why So Curious is up in here. Lady Stonehearted Kimmy G is in the building. My man KP. KP is in the building. Rocking West Robin. Sino, the greatest, the last greatest, is in the building rocking with us. Luna is in the building rocking with us. Kayla Smart is up in here rocking with us. Fred Grace is in the building. KS is in the building rocking with us. We got a bunch of people. Thank you, everyone. I don't think I got you in case I didn't get you. Serena Divine, I see you. I see you in case I didn't get a chance. Mikey P is up in this building. JT Moore is up in here rocking with us. Everybody, thank you for coming through. Cheer. And Mikey P put chair in there. It means you've been around a while, baby. You've been around a while, baby, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support that everybody, has been giving me for this channel and everything else for all the years, man. All the years that we've been out here. We're going to keep on going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it building right now. So, yeah, this episode was a little nutty. Let's go through a couple of things. Number one. All right. Number one. Let's talk about it right. Let's say it from the beginning. I told y'all about the damn blue and the red color. Did I not tell you about that? Now, I'm just asking you straight up. Have y'all been paying attention to the blue and red colors? Have you seen what I told you to be true? Have you paid attention? Have you been watching it? Because I did some other things. Listen, I told you about the blue and red color, right? Told you about it. Told you about that whole situation. And what happened? You see Apollo's mom dragging a red suitcase. Right now, it's not a coincidence. I could have said the blue and red colors meant something. And then they could have gave her a black suitcase. What up to my girl Mara Chase in the building rocking with us right here. You know what I mean? They could have did that. It could have been black. Nope, they ain't chose black. They could have put a green suitcase out there. Right? They could have, but they didn't. They put a red suit, which means to me, as I told y'all, listen to the Don. I've been telling you about this stuff. I tell you, this is you mentioned the colors, but it's deeper than that. Get deep. Yeah, it's just blue. You'll see. You gotta give me a chance to work up to it, goddammit. You gotta work up the stuff. You can't just give it all away in the first 5 minutes. But as I said, they brought up the red suitcase with her. Now, I'm telling you without a shadow of a doubt that his mother is a witch. I'm putting it on the line right now. I'm telling you. Apollo's mother is a witch. Just like we seen the Brazilian witch down there with the hoodoo. I don't know what she was using. if she was using hoodoo, it seemed like it. But that's what I think she was using. Some type of stuff like some type of hoodoo. And I'm telling you right off the bat, you know what I mean? Miss C, I see red and blue. You do see it once you look for it. That's it. You know what I mean? But she's a witch. She's a witch, and there's a good chance that the daddy is a now listen, I'm not sure what these people are. If these people are fairies, or elves, right? Because changeling could be a fairy's baby or else baby. So one or the other. I'm not sure what they're doing in the show. Again, I haven't read the books. I know nothing about it. But if they're going the fey way, then his dad is a fairy. I mean, yeah, you know, no pun intended, right? I don't want to think I'm making fun of his dad calling his dad a fairy. Well, I'm from Queens. You call someone's pops a fairy, them fighting words, right? It's something else going on there. Something, you know what I mean? Something else going on there. But I don't mean it like that. I mean it, his dad is a fairy. You know what I mean? And or elf, whichever way they're going with, that's the way it is. So, which means that Apollo most likely is a combination of them both. It's got a little bit both in there. And I told you this on the last live stream, but I'll be more in depth with you in it. What I want you to do is to go out there and look back at Apollo's mother's door. You know what I mean, right? If you look at Apollo's mother's door, you'll see that the outside of her door is red and the inside of the door is blue. Right? You'll see it. And if you look at Apollo, he be rocking the red and the blue. You know what I mean? So so when you look at it, I think they're trying to let us know. You know what I mean? That so he could be a combination of both. Now, that being said, she does the most. He's the Song of Ice and Fire. He is the Song of Ice and Fire. He's a little bit of both, but that could make his baby special, right? So that could make his baby special when you look at it, right? When you look at this situation, his baby is a hybrid between both of them. You know what I mean? So his baby could be special. Now, there's got to be a reason why they want this baby. And we don't know exactly what happened to the baby itself. We know that the baby that it was swapped for, right? She must have, how did she kill this baby? She must have boiled the baby with boiling water. Now, this is cruel, right? This is cruel. This is now what she must have been told what she has to do. We have a first phone call interrupting me in my when I'm trying to talk, but we're gonna answer.
Call from. To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
What's going on, brother?
I am good.
You gotta talk. It's getting a little broke up, so you gotta talk. You gotta talk in a little better. You sound nope. That's not it. You sound far away.
I'm good there.
Yeah, now you're good. Now we can hear KP. You know, I do the opening monologue. You got to give me at least 15 minutes of the opening monologue.
I mean, listen, I don't have too much of a monologue today. I really just have a question. Because I'm watching the show. I'm liking it. I'm liking the Brazilian / African religion / voodoo experiments and so on that's happening. I think there's a lot to it. I think the stuff we said last week about Maljo and blue being a color that protects babies. I think that kind of was, I think that was kind of proven by this episode. No, or am I wrong?
Why would you
Or
think
am I?
that? Why would you think that that was proven this episode?
I think when Apollo, first of all, I see Apollo as the main protagonist,
Mhm.
and when he wrapped that wish thing around his arm, around his wrist, it was the second one he added, and to me, it symbolized because it was at the top, it symbolized the superposition of the blueness in him over the redness in him.
Mhm.
And it just seems that when you see blue, or you see a blue filter on the screen, that somebody's trying to save somebody, somebody's trying to help somebody, somebody's discovering something.
Mhm.
When you see red, like with the young lady that looked like a little Red Riding Hood going through the forest, the scene I'm talking about.
Mhm.
That scene, the filter on it turned very, very red.
Mhm.
So I think it's kind of, I think, I mean, I could be wrong. And perhaps it's a lot deeper than blue being good, red being bad, but it's more so, blue has some good stuff that you can use it for, but maybe some bad stuff too. Red has some good stuff that you could use for, but maybe some bad stuff too. However, most people that doing the bad stuff jump over to the red. Most people that doing good stuff jump to the blue. But there is absolutely nothing that precludes somebody from being a master at the red and at the blue and using that um, strength and that uniqueness to either help the world and be like a messiah or to be a kind of an antichrist. And I think this show is probably going to go to the direction of one of these babies is going to end up being either a messiah or antichrist, and the show is trying to Apollo and a lot of other people characters in the show, without knowing it, are actually or will actually be the people that groom that particular child to either come out to be good or come out to be bad. And it's just a matter of whether the blue influence gets to him or the red influence. Am I making sense, Tony?
I hear what you're saying. I hear you saying. So you're saying that the baby is being pursued by both the witches and the elves or
The
the
good guys,
fairies, and
the elves, whatever they want to call
to
themselves, yeah.
influence this child. And maybe one side sees the child as the Messiah, but the other one sees the child as the Antichrist.
And because they see what they want of the child. It's almost like the Kuzat Harak in Dune.
Mhm.
One set of people, the same person, but one set of people see him in a particular way, and those people are trying to mold him in, to be good. And then another set of people see him in a particular way, and those people trying to mold him to be bad.
Mhm.
And even Darth Vader has that kind of that story. You have Anakin. He's being trained to be a Jedi, but he has a bit of bad in him. And for a split second, he took his eye off the ball, and that bad was able to pull him in. And I think we're going to see this baby go through a similar type thing. And the mystery probably is, where does that child actually end up at the end of the day?
All right.
Does the child end up being a savior, or does the child end up being a destroyer?
All right.
That's just, maybe I'm overthinking it, right? Maybe it's literally just a baby that that was kidnapped because people wanted to do a baby sacrifice, and they gave you a fairy instead, and boom, that's it. And then there's nothing deeper to it than that. But to me, just looking at it and looking at like where I think everybody is going, and even that scene where in Brazil with the witch, that scene, even though it was at a river, which you would imagine if you pull it back up, it's at a river which should, one would say it would be in a blue tint, but it has a kind of a reddish tint on it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If you look on that scene. So I think they're trying to set the stage for like a good versus bad, a red on blue type situation. And at the end of the day, what's actually going to happen is red and blue is going to end up coming together in the form of this child, and this child is going to be able to have more power than anybody on one side or the other, and he will bring balance to the force.
All right.
To me, that's what it sounds like. And let me hit you before I go. Let me just hit you with a little bit of something that I love. Foundation, the last episode. Let me tell you, there's nothing as good as seeing a retarded, spoiled little emperor get.
Oh, you can't spoil the show, bro. You can't spoil the show.
It's not. It's Emma spoiled. The show aired like 5 years ago.
You're saying the end of the show, man. We got gotta cut you off here. Maybe some people want to watch that show. You over here doing stuff like that. All right, back to what he was saying. I agree with some of the things he's saying, but we'll have to see what goes on. Let's answer some of these. M. Brand says Emma was not affected by the heat nor the fire. Neither was her mom in the burning house. So Brian is probably not affected by either. Your thoughts? I will say that Emma was not affected by the fire when she was touching the bottom of the pot because she was possessed at that time. The mom burned and died in the fire, so I feel she was affected in the fire. So I do think that Brian could be affected by the fire. And it seems the way they killed the changeling baby was she threw boiling water on the baby. I think that's why you see, when the guy in the comment section of that little Brian app, he said a dinner in inspired by Brian, and we're gonna have boiled onions and whatever it was. I think it was that situation. That's why he said that. So she was killed by boiling water, it seemed like it, and everything else. That's the way it seemed. Let's see what else. Alicia says, I just got my Apple subscription. That is what's up. And thank you, Carla Way, for stopping by. We got nothing but love for you. Right here. Super Villain says, anyone noticed Emma visited the witch twice? So that's true and false, I would say, on that. So she's seen the witch, but she only all right. So that could be taken two different ways. So let me explain. She's seen the witch twice, but she didn't visit the witch twice. So she's seen the witch twice, but she didn't talk to the witch twice. She only talked to her once. So most likely what happened was she seen the witch there, went back to town, asked people about her. They told her to stay the fuck away from her. And then she went back anyway and to talk to her. So she'd seen her twice because obviously she had to know about her, but she didn't actually talk to her. So that's the way I would put it and stuff. I don't want people to be confused about it, but she definitely did see her because that's why she went back to town and asked about it and everything else. Let's go. And everything else, so that's what it was. Yeah, but dealing with Brian and everything else, dealing with him being the special baby of them all, I could definitely see it going down like that because he was the hybrid baby. But then that means something with Emma. It would have to be something else with Emma. Emma could have to be special somehow herself. You know what I mean? To have that and everything else. It could something else could be dealing. It may not just be Apollo's blood. It could be Emma's blood is special too. It's either that or in the end, these witches. Now listen, these witches have been stealing these babies. I mean, these fairies have been stealing these babies for a long time, ever since the 70s when we seen his mother. You've seen all the missing baby photos going on back then. So they've been stealing all these kids for a very long time. Now, what are they doing with the kids? Now, in mythology, they either take the kids as their own and raise them to strengthen their numbers, or they give the kid to the devil. But in this thing, they say that they're eating these kids. So what is it? It could be any one of those three. You know what I mean? Isis Blue says the witches are the good ones. I think that's going to depend on perspective when it's all said and done. So it seems like the witches are trying to prevent the babies from being kidnapped. And it seems like the dude who was there, who got his ass kicked, and he got his ass kicked. I mean, Cam beat this dude with a stick. I mean, was it? I'm gonna say, was it White Rodney King worthy beating? I would say yes. I mean, she beat him that bad. It was a bad beating. It was a beating that Apollo said to him, "How the fuck are you still alive?" That's how bad that beating was. You know, and she didn't seem like she was over here, that she was over here trying to whip someone like that in the beginning. Because you see, when she was there in the beginning and Cam was there, I mean, Cam, when Apollo was there in the beginning, she didn't come at Apollo like that. You know what I mean? She was cool with it. You know what I mean? She was talking to him, playing puppets and shit with him, scary ass puppets, saying that, what is this? All right, you people are crazy, and saying that there's children, and this is how she gets the children to open up to her, because they'll talk to the puppet like she's not there. Again, she brought up another thing too. She brought up glamoring. If you watch my video, I showed you the glamour that probably was the most famous, and that would be Melisandre in Game of Thrones, where she used, and it just so happened to be a ruby necklace, and she was looked at as a witch, and that ruby necklace was enchanted with a spell that made people see her in the image that they wanted her to see. Right? And that was the beautiful young Melisandre. But in the end, when she took it off, you seen that she was like 500 years old. Now, which I'm saying to me is a little bit weird. I'm going to have to call it. You know, I wouldn't have fell for it. Not that I would ever know, but I'm going to have to assume that 500-year-old pussy don't feel the same like a young chick. I'm just assuming. Stannis smashed it, and and that was it. He ran up in there, blew it up in there. But I'm just saying, me personally, I would have to think 500-year-old. You might know the difference. I don't care what you wearing, right? You know, if let me tell you something. If you put on a costume, right? If an old lady puts on a costume and shit, say you're into like furry shit. And if you are furry and you're into that, I'm not making fun of you. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's fine. It's a great life. If you like to dress up like a zebra and have sex with someone who wants to dress like a bunny, do it. Do it. But if someone is in this bunny suit and it's a 500-year-old lady, no matter, you gotta know that there's something funny going on with this bunny, right? I mean, I would think so. But besides that, right? Besides that, what I'm saying is that even though you're glamored, something has to give it away, because it is just an illusion to make you look different. It doesn't make you change everything else. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. So she brought up glamour, and to say that, I think she was trying to say that the baby itself that was swapped out was glamored in a way. That's why it looked like his child. And that's what it is. I think that the guy who was in there and got his ass whipped, I can't think of his name, just say he might be glamour. Because I think that guy is got to be a fairy. Because when he sits there and he says that I call for backup, because you got to look at it. She only kicked his ass. How come she didn't kick Apollo's ass like that? You know why? Why is particular she kick his ass? She knows something about him. His wife is there. Apollo's wife is there, right? Both their wives is there. Both their kids got kidnapped, right? So there had to be a reason why she beat his ass like that and didn't beat Apollo's ass like that. And it said she's going to kill him, but she never talked about killing Apollo. Let's see. JTS616 says it's magic, Tony. I'm sure Eric. No. That's not what glamoring is all about. When you use glamour magic, it's not skin changing. It's not trans shape shifting. There's different forms of these magic. Now, if you are a shapeshifter, then you would be able to switch up your shape and become something else. Then it would all be different. But if you're going by glamoring as that, a glamour is just an illusion put over somebody to make you look like you want them to see. Right? And that's what going back to Game of Thrones, they did the same thing in the Head's Night when Blood Raven glamored himself. But Dunk was able to see through the glamour, kinda, and realize that wasn't the same person that he thought it was. Maynard Plum, I do believe his name was, but he was able to see through it. So some people can see through these glamours under the right conditions, And yes, ice is blue. It says it right there. You're correct. And the baby Brian Bitter, yeah, and I think that's when the baby was swapped, right? The baby was swapped when she got bit, and then she realized that this is something else was going on. Like she's seen it. So, I believe that Emma was able to see through the glamour, sorta. Like she knew that wasn't her baby, right? But it must not have looked like a creature, an evil creature to her. Because if it did, I think she would have been like going crazy. Like she wouldn't even try to breastfeed this thing. But for some reason, she knew that wasn't her baby at all. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely hit that like button if you're here. Over 100 people watching. Thank you so much for coming through. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're doing these live streams twice a week and everything else. And you can call in and speak to me anytime you want. The number is there. We want to hear from you. That's why it's a call in live stream. 518-290-0848. 518-290-0848 is there right now. Let's go through the questions that people are saying. Isis Blue said the baby also came back from being with Apollo side-eyeing him too. Definitely, but Apollo didn't see it. He wasn't able to see it. But she said, you will. She goes, you don't see it, his wife, Emma, but you will. That's what she said. Serene D says, because he is Apollo, maker of fairies, fresh out of prison. Listen, he could have some of that Felice Johnson in him. He might he might have some of that Felice Johnson in him. 214 Beans says Apollo is a good man, William is not. Why do we know this, that William isn't a good man? What did William do that he wasn't a good? That's what we have to ask ourselves. From the story, look, we can't believe anything William says because he's not telling the whole story. But he knows that his wife killed one of his daughters. She killed one of them. All right. He knows that and kidnapped the other one. And he still wanted her back. Now, was that all just a con to get to the island? Did he had to know that Apollo, he knew the whole story. You know what I mean? He knew the whole story, this dude. He knew that he had to buy this book, that he wanted to get there for. He knew Apollo's baby was swapped out for a changeling. He knew that. There's no doubt about it. He knew that's what happened. He knew that he had to buy this book. He knew that Apollo had the ability to get him to the island. But then you have to ask yourself, why? How did he know this? How did he know this? And the only thing it could be is that William has to be a fairy. There's no other way around it. He has to be a fairy. I can't see him being anything else. Yeah, he's definitely Kathy B said he's a stalker. So is Apollo. Apollo's a straight stalker. He was stalking the shit out of Emma. You know, he was definitely stalking Emma. So you know, I would say, you know, that goes on with a lot of these men are stalkers in this show. Serene said, I think William was taking pictures. He admitted to following them for a while. I think that it would seem like he was the one sending the pictures to Emma. It seems like he would do that. But I do think that it was Cal in them, because the pictures led her to Cal, to contact Cal, and the Cal to tell her what to do. And that's why the other lady said, I'm not sure that I can go through with it. And Cal has probably told her, you got to kill this baby. But maybe there's a special way you have to kill the baby. Maybe you have to use boiling water. Maybe that's what it is. You have to use boiling water to kill the baby. Maybe you just can't beat the baby to death. Maybe it has to be boiling water, which is a terrible way to go. That's got to be horrible. You know, so maybe that's what it is. And then Cal, after she did it, they know that, listen, you're gonna be wanted for murder, and we're gonna get your baby back. And so now come on this island, this invisible island, and live right here. And we're gonna raise these kids on this island with the wise ones. Sylv 35 says, does Apollo's mom kill his dad? Did do you think she's going to, or are you asking me, did she already, or do you think that she's going to kill the dad? You say, is that was it? Yeah, just hit me up and let me know what you're trying to get me to say, and I'll answer that. Kathy B says, what's in the red suitcase? It could be a body. It could be a body. I know that when you live in New York, where I'm from, you dump bodies in the river. That's what gets dumped in them rivers. Bodies. It could be a body up in there. It could be a body. She say, I think it was the dad. I think the dad is dead. All right. I don't, yeah, it's small. I don't know if she could fit the whole dad up in there. I don't know if she could do that. Listen, it might be possible. I don't know if she could. KP Creations, K Perez Creations says, hi, Tony. So glad you're covering this amazing show. Question: what's up with Williams' demented Facebook quotes? I think that he was trying to elicit a reaction by putting those posts up, and Apollo never seen it. And I think that's what he was after by putting those posts up there, and to get Apollo to react. But Apollo never went on that site until then. Maybe he knew, because he contacted Apollo's boy, so he must have knew that Apollo's boy was on there. Maybe he thought that Apollo's boy would tell him that or show him that. But that's what I think it was. But every post he put up there was about food and the baby. And we know that it says that a fairy's favorite dish is human babies. So, that's all I could think. I don't think that's a coincidence. That's what another clue that this guy is a fairy. He says, John makes us in LA, we toss bodies in the ocean. Yeah, we throw them in the Hudson. They get thrown in the Hudson. The Hudson is a big river. You get thrown right in the horse in there and everything else. Kathy B says, "Who is Patrice in the grand scheme of it?" Patrice is a little suspect too. He's also covered in blue. His whole room is always blue. He's definitely suspect. I mean, I don't want to be out here thinking that everybody is a fairy and everybody is a witch. Can't be that. But Patrice, definitely a suspect. Definitely a suspect. 214 Bean says Cal is able to get children to tell her things via the puppets. Cal would have talked to William's daughter. All right, maybe. And what did William's daughter say that would make her want to kill William and kill him in front of the wife? Was he abusive? You know, what is it? What's going on with him? You know, it's. I think she wants to kill him because she knows he's a fairy. And when he said I called in backup, I think he called in the fairies because the fairies got to be knowing that these witches are killing their changelings, and they want to put a stop to this shit. And they're fucking up everything. He couldn't find them, but for some reason, Apollo was able to find them. So what does that mean? Does it mean that only witches can find this island? And if that's the case, that only witches can find this island, then that must mean that he has witch's blood inside of him, Apollo. I think his mother's already been on that island before. I think she's been there before. I think she's been there, or she's on that pier putting that thing in there. I think she's been to that island. I think she's been through this whole situation. Again, the father says to Apollo, "You're coming with me," right? You're coming with me. Like she wants to take him away. And that was a dream. The mom says that she had to get rid of the father because he wasn't being a good husband or whatever. But what if they tried to swap Apollo out? The mom found out and killed the changeling, put the changeling inside the red suitcase, drop that inside of the river, and got her son back and raised her son, Apollo. But then the father wanted to come back and take him again. I think that's probably how it all played out. So inside that red suitcase has to be a changeling baby. I mean, that's what I would think. Let's put this up here real quick. What's this? Who's this? This is Miss Diva Shy. It was a memory. Hey, your name is Miss Diva Shy, but you ain't shy about putting them capital letters up in there. So get the attention. But I understand what you're saying. No, it was a memory, not a dream. And we're talking specifically about what, though? What are we saying is not a memory? You know what I mean? What is not a memory? Is it the is it the smoke coming out of his dad's mouth? His dad actually taking him away? So if did that actually happen? Did it happen while he was watching cartoons? You know, let me know what you think. You got all these people in here. What are y'all afraid to call Tony Teflon to die? I know y'all got. Listen, man. Let me explain something to you. This was back in the day where you called outside your area code and you got hit with like a crazy bill. then I could understand you not calling. I could. Because I remember those days, goddamn. I remember when you were in Queens, you couldn't call Manhattan. That shit was long distance. Right? It's to call Manhattan. This ain't the case. And ain't none of y'all got that prepaid shit anymore. Ain't none of y'all got these prepaid 1,000 minutes a month shit. You ain't got that shit. Y'all motherfuckers got fucking regular. You call me 518-290-0848, man. God damn it. Get on the horn. Get on the horn. You know what I mean? Say with a shot. Get on the horn. Talk to me. Talk to me. Did they cross into a hidden world on that boat? Yeah. It's definitely, how can we put this? I don't know if it's a different dimension. I think it's the same dimension. I just think that they're inside of a place they're inside of a place that was clouded. Like you can't see it unless you're one of them. You know what I mean? Kind of like with the Harry Potter shit. Like they were still in the main world, but you had to be a magician in order to access certain spots. I believe it's like that. He says his mom told him that was a memory, not a dream. When he came and she sat at work. But what part? There's different parts there. Did he come with a blue mask on his face, rip it off, and blow smoke in his son's face? That right there, was that really happen? Or just the part where he just comes through the door, picks him up, and walks away? Because where does he walk to? He walks into the bathroom with him. Like he doesn't take him, turn around, and walk out the door. He takes him, picks him up, and says, "You're coming with me," and like heads towards the bathroom. And there's steam coming through the bathroom. So what exactly was it? You know what I mean? I mean, when I look at it, it seems like maybe look, we got a phone call coming in. That's what I'm talking. It's our boy. It's Ancestors. What's going on? You're on.
Ganel.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who we speaking to?
Hi there. This is Ganel. I wouldn't normally say calling from California, but I just moved to Las Vegas last night, so I'm calling from Las Vegas.
That's what's up. How is it in Vegas? You happy to be out there? Or what?
Yeah, with family again. You know, it's nice to be around that, and the weather is certainly not as fucking horrible as it used to be in the past. So can't complain.
That's what's up. That's what's up. What do you want to talk about?
I mean, first of all, I would say, first time caller. I've watched many of your live shows, and just figured I'd give a call. And I just watching the episode of the Changeling last night when I had some downtime on the drive. And there's like a few things, I guess, about the show in general that I find really, really interesting. I guess I love the vibe of like a modern fairy tale, and that there's so many different kinds of characters that we're slowly being introduced to, and we're always being set up to not really trust the characters that we're seeing, because they might not even be human at the end of the day. And I would say that what's really stuck out about the William Wheeler character to me is that he lies extensively about anything to get Apollo to do stuff in that episode. Like he really strings him along through the entire episode, and Apollo isn't even aware of it like the entire time. Like every time he tries to catch William in a lie, William just like, has a really convenient excuse or something like that. And I would say that William is, if he's not a fairy, he could be some other kind of mythical creature, in disguise. But I would say that the fairy's a really good guess, because I believe you pointed out the little symbol in the kindergarten Facebook page, and it's the same one of the necklace that he had, and that was a really good thing to point out, because he actually points the post when he says this is Patrice right here. It's got the same symbol, and Apollo doesn't, it doesn't register for him. But as the audience, and when you pointed that out, I watched that scene again, and I'm like, oh, this guy's totally stringing him along. Like, he's making all these posts and trying to make it seem like there's something going on when, he's just playing Apollo like a fool because he thinks that he can get to the island or whatever. And I would say that Apollo is really, really gullible, like kind of surprisingly so, that he doesn't really have any discernment for the people he's dealing with. But I would say something I noticed, a really interesting detail, and something you just said a little while ago about what is in that suitcase that his mom dropped into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that you're right in assuming that it's the Changeling, like the replacement for Apollo at the time. But I think it could actually be the other way around, where that's the actual real Apollo in that suitcase who didn't make it this whole time, and she was raising the Changeling instead. And he's, maybe not aware of his past or anything like that, and she's kept that from him his whole entire life. The reason I think that is because when Apollo and Emma had Brian, they the baby started crying like incessantly at a certain point, when I would assume that Brian was swapped out.
Mm-hmm.
And when Apollo was a kid, there was a certain point where his mom said he just started crying like every single night. And that leads me to believe that that's the actual Changeling, that we missed a detail. Like, she left out that detail for the audience and for Apollo, because she probably doesn't want to admit to herself and to him that he's not the real son. You know what I mean? But I guess that's kind of where my mind is at with the show, because I'm not sure what's in that suitcase, but I have a feeling that Apollo didn't actually make it, and many of the fathers that we see in the show may actually be changelings, because it seems like an odd detail, but the fact that Apollo and his dad kind of more or less have had the same approaches to courting a woman,
Mm-hmm.
Saying they want the same exact things, like just to be a father and all that. It seems like, how the hell is that so coincidental through like a generational thing? It's almost like it's
Like a time loop, like it's happening
predetermined
again.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's a cyclical thing, and the characters are not aware of these things on a bigger macro picture scale. They're just like thinking they're just living their normal lives and stuff like that. But that's probably the most interesting aspect to the show, is that there's these parallels, and I'm trying to figure out. I don't know if it's time travel or anything like that. I just feel like there's like you say, another world that we haven't seen, almost like
Mm-hmm.
Harry Potter or something like that, where it's like you go through a doorway and then you're in the different world where there's different rules and all this stuff. But it's all like, maybe it's just like lifting the veil from your eyes at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You just see everything around you for what it is, as opposed to the quote unquote real world. But I guess that's just my thoughts right there.
No, I think those are great thoughts. I had never thought about Apollo actually being the Changeling. Now, the show is called The Changeling. Apollo is the star of the show. So if it's about
Yeah.
Apollo and the show is The Changeling, it could be that Apollo is the Changeling that we're talking about for the whole show. Right? It could be
I
a
mean,
good thing that they make you think it has to do with his son, but truly it's him the whole time.
mhm.
I could see that 100%.
It would be I mean, I don't know how exactly they would go about making that twist, but it seems like a pretty logical twist, based on that. He's the poster boy, for the show. But I would say that that it's probably misdirection, the way that they want you to focus on his son. But I mean, the one scene where what was it? And I think it was episode 3, where Emma's like, she's like really sleep deprived,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like right in front of the baby crib, and she's like almost falling asleep, and then the baby starts crying, and she's just like, "Raw, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? She just like wakes up all crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like looking at the baby, and you only see her face. It doesn't pan to the baby, And she's like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then you can hear the baby's crying change, like, "Nyah," like some crazy, weird monster kind of call. Like if you watch that little scene back, it's just really like, you can't see it, but it's almost like the kid, it sounds like it's like shape shifting or like peeling like something back, you know? So it's like you can see something, and she's just like, she's aware of that. And obviously this baby knows how to, you know, make it seem like it's a normal baby otherwise. But I just feel like, you know, that's the kind of thing where the audience is let to know that, yeah, this baby's not an actual baby. They're not going to show what people might look like without the glamour. But, you know, I certainly think that the show is focusing on the baby, but focusing on Apollo's past makes me think that he could very well just be the changeling, and he's not aware of it, and his mom probably is. And another thing that I thought was, witches in the show, as we've seen them, are all female.
Yep.
But throughout history, witches are not just female. There's many male witches, and so it makes me look at certain people in the show like, if they're not a fairy or a changeling, and they're a male character, maybe they are a witch as well. Maybe his dad was, if he wasn't a fairy or something like that. It's kind of hard for me to understand who could be what.
Warlock? Is the warlock? Can a woman be a warlock too, or is a warlock just?
I mean, I'm neither, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if that's the way it works.
I didn't write the rules on witches and warlocks, but I'll say you're a witch.
I would have to. Yeah, it says a warlock meaning is a man who practices witchcraft. Is a warlock.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you can pull it up on Google. There you go. Yeah, that for me is that is true. There is that distinction. But you know, I guess I could say males practice witchcraft. You know, they're just called a warlock. So maybe, you know, the little semantics thing, you know, is my own mistake. But I think that, you know, we haven't seen males practicing magic in the show. There is that possibility that we could see that at some point. I'm not sure how that would connect to the story in that regard, but, you know, it just makes me wonder, like, you know, we haven't seen a lot so far. So
no, it's a great theory. I dig it. I dig what you're saying. I could definitely see them playing it out this way, and it may happen. I think you could be right. We'll see. I'll take it.
Yeah. Oh, may I ask one last question? Your thoughts on something?
Yes, of course.
The old woman in Brazil that Emma runs into.
Yeah.
Do you think that all of these events are predetermined from maybe even ancient times, or do you think that Emma just maybe encountered like a spirit or something like that when she went to that lagoon, because maybe that woman is there in reality, maybe she's just a spirit. It's a little hard for me to tell, but the fact that she knew Emma was coming, and she knows when the piece of string falls off of her wrist, even, it just makes me think that maybe there's a chance that we'll see this go really, really far back. You know, of course, it sets it up at the beginning of the show with the Norwegian sailors and everything. But I wonder if maybe that woman, the old lady that we saw at the beginning, was around in that time, that initial time period where the Norwegians landed, and maybe she's ancient. You know what I mean? She's just a spirit at this point. You know, that was my question. What do you think about that whole aspect of the show right there? Because it's really interesting to me. I don't know where they're going with that.
Yeah, I do think that it was all predetermined, that she already knew that Emma was coming. She had the string prepared. She already knew everything that was going to happen and everything. I mean, I believe that she jumped into Emma's body. She took over Emma. I think that's what happened. I think when you look at when you hear the wishes, she says specifically on it, she says 3 wishes for your life is what she said.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that in your video, actually. Yeah, that was a really good thing to point out, for your life.
Yeah.
Specifically, because that stuck out to me when she said that too. I'm like, Oh, so your life is over, basically. Like you just gave up your wishes for your life.
For your life, and
Nice.
you get these 3 wishes, and that's what it is. So yeah, I agree that's what it is. I think that's what I think is predetermined, and I think now she's living out in Emma's body on that island right now. The Emma is
Yeah.
in her body, and
that's interesting because I think you might be right about that. In the episode, they showed the lady Cal using that little doll,
Mhm.
and it was looking like it was alive. And I think you could be totally right that maybe that lady is just puppeteering all of these witches and that kind of stuff that you see to make them do these little things like that. That actually is I
right,
hadn't even
yeah,
thought of that
the
until you
lady
mentioned
who's
that.
in Cal. That originally that wasn't her body, that she jumped into that body, and I think that's what they'd be doing throughout all time in history. They've been doing this for a very long time, jumping from body to body when their body gets old.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I hadn't thought about that we got people inhabiting other people's bodies in that way. Another form of changeling, maybe,
You could
right?
have
That's
these
pretty
people
cool.
it could be from nowhere. Like it could be these people from all the way back then still alive, but just jumping from body to body.
Oh, just perpetuating their life cycle through different people's
Yes, and
bodies
just
and that
keep
kind of
going and
stuff.
just keep going and just keep going to all the way up
Yeah.
to now.
That's I don't know if you've watched the show Foundation at all, but there's a character, this lady with like psychic powers in the show, and that's what she was doing for hundreds of years, was, hopping through people's bodies and stuff like that. So she's like a space witch in that show, I guess. But in this show, that's probably just as likely. You got ancient ass people
Yeah.
inhabiting, new people's bodies and stuff. Cool.
No
Yeah.
doubt about it. All right, brother. Thank you for the telephone call. Definitely call back, man.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate your time, man. And it was nice to talk to you.
No
Thank you.
doubt. Peace and stay sexy, bro. And that was a great call. Listen, don't be afraid to call in. We here. It's 518-290-0848. Call in and say exactly what you fear. Let's go through it. Again, Luna is saying Cal is running a safe house for women who had their children changed out as changeling. I agree. That is without a shadow of a doubt what's going on there. I think that they changed them out. So the theory works 100% that he could be the ultimate changeling, could be Apollo. In the end, it could be him. He could be that. You could pick it apart a little bit and say, because the stories about changelings, babies being swapped out and everything else. Apollo's a changeling. The mom killed the wrong baby in the end. Maybe the mom thinks she actually killed the changeling, and she didn't, and she doesn't know that Apollo was the changeling. We have another call coming in. Let's take this call from 114.
Call from
Thank you from NYC.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
What's going on? You rock with the Don Tony Teflon. Who's calling?
JT from NYC.
What's going on? What's going on?
I wanted to see what you thought about the case being Brian's body, because there's like a whole thing about, they keep mentioning everything about the funeral, people visiting the grave, and he won't go. I'm thinking maybe like when he was a child, his mother went to work on Saturdays. Like the smoke that was coming out of his father's mouth, maybe he like possessed him or like inhabited his body or something like that. So that's why they have like a lot of the same mannerisms and thoughts or whatever. Like maybe there's like two spirits inhabiting the same body. And the mother might know that and is basically trying to prevent Apollo from doing the same thing with his son. So she might have dug up the body and put it in a suitcase and put in, and just dropped it in the river.
Whose body are you saying that's in that suitcase?
Brian.
You think that Brian?
Apollo.
Because it so all
Yeah,
right. So what we see,
because we've never seen Brian dead, or
we
we've
have, we
never
have
visited
not,
the
but
grave.
we have not. But the when we see her with that suitcase, it's when she's young.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She's a young lady when she had the suitcase on. And then they show her on the same dock as an older woman when nowadays, but when she had the suitcase, she was young.
So do you think it could have been like um, something of the father's, or like,
I mean,
you
listen,
know, any,
I think it could have been. I think it could have been the changeling baby. I think it could be a
because
changeling
because I'm
baby, but I think that the theory that it's the real Apollo baby is in there is a good theory too.
like they just moved to that particular island, like you said that you thought that the mother has been to the island. Um, Cal was saying we just moved to the island. He said we were, you know, like in the city or other places, and husbands would come in and try to repossess the women and stuff like that. So we just moved to this island to ensure that stuff like that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, because she
So
got beat. The men came in there and fought them, like they got into a big fight. So basically they had
yeah,
to flee from where they were at to this island.
so I'm saying I don't think that Apollo's mother has been to the island, because they wouldn't have been there when she was younger.
Yes.
So
Yep.
I'm
You could be right.
and when you think
I
about
agree
it,
on that one. You're correct. They definitely said that. So yes, you definitely could be right on that 100%. She may not have been to
when
the
you think
island
about
because
it,
they did just say they moved there.
when he's out on the boat with William, he said he's been saying for like the past 2 episodes, why do I still have this wedding ring on, right? And I'm thinking like a wedding ring is worth something. He's kind of poor right now. He throws that in the river,
Mm-hmm.
and then he pulls out the string, and then doesn't do anything with it. He doesn't throw that away. But as soon as he does that, that's kind of like when, soon after they discover
But
the island. So I'm
he
like,
tied the string around his finger, right?
yeah. So I'm saying, does the string, like, did that help him find the island? Because it wasn't too long
Yep.
after that they found it.
You're correct. Maybe it was because we know that's the witch's string. So maybe the string had the magic. Maybe you have to be a witch to get to that island. And maybe by him doing that and putting that string on there, it enabled him to find the island. I could dig that.
Yeah. I think that might be some sort of protection, because that's why they did whatever to William, and that might be why they, kind of spared him that, that same treatment or whatever. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think that if they were going to do that in the show, the showrunners, and they were going to do something like the string is the actual protection, and that's why they didn't kick his ass. I think you would have to, if it's to me, if I was running the show, and it doesn't mean they do this, but I would think to me, you would have to have Cal see the string. You'd have to make that known. Like you'd have to show her face and then show the string on the finger like she looked at it. You know what I mean?
Well, I would think that, like, maybe they sent something. It's not necessarily like a visual thing. It might be another sense, like like they can just like sense the aura of it, so to say.
I understand what you're saying, and quite possibly could be that. But I think if you're writing a television show and you want the people watching the show to follow along, because you have to show it. Like when I said the thing about the necklace being a dude's avatar, when they kicked his ass, they showed that necklace fall off and they froze it on that necklace for a second to let you see it. Now, whether you were going to take that necklace and put it together with the avatar would be on you, but they actually gave you the chat, right? They gave it to you right there. You know what I'm saying? So I think they would have had, to me, I think they would have had to do something with that myself.
I'm like, well, we kind of don't know fully what happened when he was submerged in the water and everything like that. So, you know, like maybe like he was knocked out, like maybe what was it, like twice, like 2 times or something, from the time that they captured him. So they could have found it on him at any point, so to say.
Well, they said that they didn't that Cal would want to speak to him, and that's why they didn't beat his ass like that. Once they found out who he was and they realized who he was. Like
And
Cal
I'm like, I want
specifically,
to know.
Cal specifically would want to speak to him.
I wonder, is it because maybe she told Emma told her the story that he cut off the string, the bracelet. Maybe that has some sort of significance.
Well, she says to him, "You're gonna have to eat humble pie, a big slice of it, in order to survive this, right?" And you know, eating humble pie means that you're going to have to believe something that you didn't want to believe, and I think that would be that the baby is not a baby. I think that he's going to have to admit that his wife was right the whole time. And that's the humble pie he's got to eat. That's what I think. But yo, thanks for calling in, bro. I truly appreciate it. And definitely call back.
All right, thanks.
I'm saying, you know what I mean? So Luna, thank you for the super chat. We truly appreciate that. We don't get these often. So it means a lot to us. Who is the cavalry William called to the island? I do believe that it's the other fairies, the fairies that are hunting these witches from killing the babies. It's like they got found out before, and she didn't give the full information. She just said, "Oh, we had to flee because these men called in, and these men did these whole situations and beat us up, and we came to this island." I think they found them, and they were killing them because these are the people that they're killing all the changeling babies. And that's it. And any baby who gets replaced, they're contacting them on the web and telling them exactly what they have to do. And apparently you have to boil water and kill these babies that way. And good night, Kathy B. It's bedtime for you. Good night. Thank you for rocking with us for as long as you did. Another great call. Thank you for these great calls. You know, that's what makes this show go. When we have great calls, I can't just do this shit by myself. We need all these great calls. Everyone has great ideas. You know what I mean? I agree with both of these callers' idea. I think that everything is, as what they're saying, a lot of it is definitely it's feasible and everything else, without a shadow of a doubt. I still think William is definitely suspect. There ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Let me get a drink and I'll be right back. I am back in this motherfucker. You see the Don Tony Teflon sitting on the Iron Throne, holding ice in his hands right there. And that is what's up. Again, thank you for everyone who's rocking with us, comes every week. Truly appreciate it. Well, been here 2 weeks, but it ain't both weeks. Or you just heard, keep it going. You know what I mean? All right. 1 second. I have a pretzel. I'm just eating the pretzel. I want to chew on somebody on camera and stuff. It's not good to do that. Getting these damn pretzels there. Addicting. And then, all right, let's go through a couple of things right here. I mean, he says, how much to stream the show and where? I don't understand the question. I mean, just jumped in the wrong spot. Don is at the palace. I am at the palace right there. Right there with the on the iron throwing everything up. Oh, all right. We're back. We're back in here. Thug mug in hand. All right, let's go. Let's keep it going. Where's Phil? All right, where's my boy in LMR? They're supposed to be here doing this shit with me. They're supposed to be here doing this shit with me. Let's see. Didn't see a red string on Apollo's mom's wrist in the car. Flashback when brother was shot by militants. Didn't see. No, I don't know if I did. I didn't check for that. There he is. Let's say his name. He's like Azura High. He say his name 3 times. He says he's slacking here. I'm instincts when the camera goes on. You be here, Phil. Jesus Christ. How am I here doing this stuff with myself? Azura High. Say his name 3 times in here. I'm not supposed to be doing this stuff alone. You're supposed to be here rocking with me, doing this together. That's the way it's supposed to be. 214 Bean says maybe the cavalry is a group of husbands. I think it's a group of fairies. I think that's what we'll find. I think they'll be there soon enough, but I think it's a group of fairies. But how? Did he put the GPS out on them from the phone? They smashed the shit out of that phone. Did they get the coordinates quick enough for them to find it there? Oh, I'll give you my password, Phil. You can watch it. Oh, no problem. I'll give you my password. Log into my account. So that's no problem. You can catch up this week and come through next week. Only 4 episodes. You can do that anytime. And that is what it is. All right, there. But let's see if we get Phil on next time. We'll get him in there to watch all these episodes and everything else, and get him in here rocking with us and stuff. All right, going on this thing. So yeah, he said, let's go on here. He said it's not his boat. That's where the GPS is. He said it's not his. It could be. I mean, but she smashed the phone like it was gonna be something to do with the phone. Maybe it is the boat GPS. It could be a situation like that. And what up to Amanda's the shit? Is that what it says there? Is this Amanda's the shit? I agree that you are. Maybe it doesn't say that. We got another call. Let me take this right now. 404. What's going on?
Call from
Garrett.
to accept, press 1.
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who are we speaking to?
Hey, what's going on? This is Garrett.
What's going on, Garrett?
Nothing much. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I just had a question. I know you were saying there was a possibility about Apollo and the fact that his son Brian might be a witch and a fairy.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why he might be, I guess, important. But Apollo himself, wouldn't he have been just as important if he was the son of a witch and a fairy? So why would Brian be more valuable than Apollo himself?
Exactly. So I said a little bit ago that Emma could have something to do with that since she had the baby with her. But maybe they didn't know about Apollo. You know, maybe a mother and father. Maybe he wanted to bring her, the father, but the mother prevented it. You know what I mean? So maybe they tried,
Yeah.
and that's why the dad was like, "You're coming with me," but the mom could have been like, "No, your ass is staying here," and that's why she got rid of him. So maybe he was that a pop, he was that popular, but it seems to be like when you can grow out of this shit, and maybe when he reached a certain age, that was the end of it, and they only want the babies for some reason.
Oh, I got you. Like they need to get him as a baby. That way they can use him for whatever,
Whatever
his powers.
yeah, for whatever purpose it is, it would be it's a baby situation. But when you deal with the changeling is it's a baby, right? Being swapped out for a human child or whatever. So that's the whole aspect of it. So it has to do something with being a baby. Again, when you look at all the pictures and everything from the 70s, always missing children. So maybe that, maybe that's what it was. It would have to be something dealing with a child now that he's too old. He may have outgrown that.
Got you. Another question that I had was, if you see how Cal reacted to William, she knew, I think, that he was a fairy. And the only thing I was wondering is, how would Apollo's mom not recognize Brian, even if he used glamour or whatever, being a fairy and then having a child with him?
All right, so yeah,
And then, because then that messes up the whole theory, because I was thinking at first Apollo would have to have witch's blood in him to get on the island. That's probably a coven of witches on that island, and the fairies cannot get there because they're shielded by the witch blood magic or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking, if Apollo's mom is a witch, then how did she not see through Brian if he is a fairy?
But did she?
So then I was like, the red string would probably make sense,
Well,
because the red string came from the witch through Emma.
both work, right? So he could be the red string, could be what got him on the island, or it could be the bloodline that got him on the island. They both work, right? Either one it could be. But
Yeah, that's what I
he
was
may
thinking.
have seen the original baby, right? Because when we see her with the original baby, every time she was there, she was cool with playing with the baby. But when the baby got swapped out, maybe then she didn't see it right then. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yeah,
she seen it when it was dead, but she didn't see it when it was alive. The original baby she was down with. She was helping take care of and everything else. But when those times got tough, they didn't show her around when Emma got to that point. When Emma got bit and everything else, the mom wasn't around then. It just seemed to focus on those two.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, in Apollo's story, his mom, like, if he had witch's blood, right?
Yes.
And Brian, his father, was a fairy, how did Apollo's mom, he had been trying to get with her for 9 years. How did she not see that he was a fairy over those 9 years?
She may have known. And this, listen, West Side Story situation.
Oh, yeah, I feel you.
You know what I mean? She may have known. Maybe that's why she didn't want to fuck with him all the years, but he wore it down.
Yeah, I got you. And then she thought,
fuck it,
they could overcome their
differences. Fuck it, fuck it. We just, Olga and the fucking this or whatever. Fuck it, we gonna get it going. And she could have used
and then Brian held allegiance to the fairies. I got you.
She might have used the excuse of, I don't date white men, to try to get him to go away. But this motherfucker wasn't trying to go away. So I think it could have been some West Side Story love affair from two people from the different sides of the track, hookup type situation.
Yeah, the classic. And then Brian was holding allegiance to the fairies. Mm-hmm. And then that's when she realized, he's about that.
Yeah, when he wanted to take the baby away.
Yeah, she thought the love could overcome it. And then that all makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
That's the way
that makes even more sense than everything. All right, then. Well, yeah, that was the questions I had, and I'm enjoying watching the live stream.
I appreciate you calling in. Definitely call back, bro.
Yes, sir. Right. See you next time.
Yes, sir. One. See people. That's what I'm talking about. Call in. That's what you gotta do. Call in. I will definitely hit Phil up with the code as soon as we get off this, so Phil can catch up and we can have him on here, because it'll be a much better show with Phil's on here and everything else. And that's what it is. But we definitely do that. We definitely, as soon as it's over, I'll get Phil code, get Phil logged in to Apple TV to watch all these shows. and everything else and all that. But yeah, I think that was a good call and everything else. Again, the string could be the key. It may not just be the bloodline. That's a very good point that the caller made in, because it did happen after he put the string on the finger is when they found it. So it could be the string. Another call come. Yeah, pop. Now, yeah, God, you understand what this is all about. 315.
Call from
Mandy.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail,
What's going on? You're rocking with the Don Tony test line. Who's calling?
Hello. Sorry.
Let me,
Okay, so I
first,
just tuned
who
in.
we speaking to tonight? Who is this?
My name's Mandy.
All right, Mandy. What's going on, Mandy?
Okay, so I just was able to turn on. Some of you guys talked about this yet or not, but I think the baby was switched when he was in the basement and found that book. And they used the book to distract him because he was alone down there. And then all of a sudden when he got back to the house is when the baby started eating from her and like crazy.
So you think that while he was there searching for the thing, searching through the books is when the baby was swapped out?
Yeah, because he set him down on the floor and was talking to him and telling him about a book that his father gave him and what it said in it. But then it caught his attention and he started looking at the book all hard and he wasn't paying attention to the baby. Then when they went home, she was pumping and then that's when the baby started feeding off of her. And he didn't bite her right then. He did it later, but that was the first time he fed off of her. So I read up more on changeling lore. And they said all the changelings are ravenous and they eat like crazy. That was one of the things. So I think that's when the book, and that's why that weirdo guy wants to know where he found the book so bad.
You know what? You could be right on this one. Listen, you callers are doing it, baby. Yeah, y'all do it. I think you could be right on this. I'm gonna go take a look at that again. But the baby swap had to happen at one point. But yes, that could be it. That would mean that the people in the house are fairies who had the book.
Possibly. Okay, and then so more on changeling lore is they don't try to kill the baby. They torture it for the fairies to give the human baby back. There's like people who literally have used that for defense in real life in a beat trial. Like back in the 1900s, but that's a thing. Like they try to torture it to the point of death so that they can get their child back.
They torture what? The changeling baby?
Yes. So the fairies will return the human baby.
So they grab the babies up. So you think that is what she was doing? That she was using the boiling water on this changeling baby so that
because you can. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You can kill a baby easy. You don't have to do all that other shit she was doing in there that you could hear him screaming. Like she could have just thrown him out the window.
Mm-hmm. But she did kill him because they found the baby, dead baby.
Yeah, she did. People have done it in the real life over in Europe. The changeling thing is big. I didn't realize how big that was. I don't know if that's what they tell their kids when they're bad or what. But I wanted to ask you this. Do you think that the changeling had not power but influence over Apollo? Because okay, we know he's not an asshole. Like when he went out to eat with his girl and her friend, clearly the friend was paying for the dinner. He had never been there before. He didn't know they needed a jacket. And even when he saw the prices, he said bread, and I don't think he was paying. I think she was paying. You know what I'm saying? So he was not like a jerk, like I'll take a steak and shrimp and this and that. He didn't even want to eat nothing because it was so much. But then his homeboy, his number one, he's gonna lie and tell him he didn't find anything in the basement when he found that book.
Yeah.
Like it was very odd.
Yeah, I think he thought he was paying for this dinner. And that's why he was like, I'm gonna take bread. Because he was stressing the prices like this. He's like, this bitch just ordered a $120 meal. And if he didn't think she was paying, he wouldn't have cared that she ordered that meal. I think he felt that this was on his bill. He was paying for this. And that's why he was like, I'm just gonna give me water and bread. Hold the butter. Hold the butter. No, I'll lick the bread. I'll get it moist. Don't worry. Just give me the bread.
Yeah, but his girl seemed surprised too, and she knew they had money problems because when she needed medication, she said, "Are we gonna be able to afford this?" That made me feel like the friend invited them, and when someone invites them, they pay.
And the friend looked like she was well off.
Yes, well, not well off. He's just not dirt broke like them.
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
she took him to a
well,
restaurant.
everyone called her bougie, and I'm like, for what? She ate in a restaurant.
Yeah,
She didn't look
I
like
don't
a
know. If we
bum.
can
I
get.
don't
I'm not
understand.
with the bougie thing. She wasn't bougie about it. They went to a restaurant where you had to wear a dinner jacket. You know,
Yeah.
that's not. Listen, they didn't go to Applebee's, right? You know, she didn't take him there. You know, she wasn't trying to take him there or anything else. She took him to a pretty nice restaurant there, which is, you know, I would say probably the caliber of like a hula hands or something like that. You know what I mean? And listen, I think he felt he was flipping the bill.
Yeah, true. On the last live stream, when you said how do you pull this string out of his wallet so fast, I was thinking because it was empty. Shit, there wasn't
But
nothing else.
he didn't pull it out the wallet though. He pulled out the jacket pocket.
No, he did. I rewatched. Okay, because I rewatched when someone said the baby got switched when they finally put it down when they went to lay down, and that wasn't a thing. That's why I was like, wait a minute, no, these things didn't happen in order, and that's why I think it happened. That's when I came up with the basement, and then it made sense for the book and why that weirdo guy wanted to know so hard about where they got it from or whatever. Because also, it's really weird that they're just selling it to some random guy in New York. Like a book like that would be major museums and shit would want it. That would be on the internet. Like, I don't know. It was just odd.
Yeah,
But
if you
anyway,
have a book that's that valuable, that's going up for auction at like a at a big time auction.
like the auction house, right? That's what I was
Yeah, that's
thinking.
not
So
going on
that
eBay.
is
That's not
within
going on
itself
eBay.
is weird too. Like the fairies knew it was going to be put up for sale, and they instantly went and bid on it. Like I don't know, it was odd. But I did rewatch it, and he did pull the wallet out and pull the string out.
All right, I'll take your word on that. If you say that's what you're seeing, then I'll definitely take your word on that.
But
But that would mean if they swap that baby there, that the people in the house would have to be. I mean, saying that the people are witches, they can't be witches. They would have to be fairies because they would have had to have the baby on standby.
well, okay, I don't know how fairies work, but I don't think they necessarily had to be fairies because whoever was living there, those are estate sales. So whoever lived there probably died and nobody lived there. That was just family members to get a buck and whatever, we'll sell you whatever. But it might not even be a real book. It might have been glamored just like the baby is. You know what I'm saying? They had to hurry up and get it back. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
it could
know.
have been all set up, and if it was all set up, and he went there, and they knew that he was bringing the baby there, and this was their chance to snatch the baby away, it could have been someone else in the house that we didn't see. Was there other people in the house when he was shopping through there?
They didn't show us.
I don't
He just talked
remember.
to,
I mean,
and
it was an open
when
house, so you could assume maybe there was other people up in there.
after he left out of there was the first picture that Emma got. He was in the driveway of that house putting the baby in the car.
So maybe it was somebody else that was there watching him swap the baby out right then.
Yeah, I don't. That part is weird because I know you think that the witches group or whatever does the text, but I feel more like it's the fairies because they're like fucking with him almost with the got him and stuff like that. But then it's like the fairies text, but then fairies aren't supposed to exist, so I don't really
Yeah,
know
but
what the fuck.
those texts is what led her to Cal. So why would
That's true.
why would the fairies want to lead her to the people who's trying to kill the baby?
That's true. And I think his mom, I don't know, she knows more because I believe you're right. I just heard right before I called in when you said that the mom might have known that the father was a fairy or whatever, which I definitely think he was. But something that struck me on the rewatch was when he came home from jail and he saw his mom for the first time and he was repeating what his father said to me and he said, "Come with me." And she said, "What'd you say?" Like that really caught her attention. So I think you're right that he wanted to take Apollo because she acted so strongly to him saying that. And it was just such an offhand, like, "Come with me." It's like, I don't know. It didn't seem important, but it was. because everything is important.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, and that it did catch her attention in there 100%. So yeah, I agree. Amanda, the shit is saying I'm confused now. What are you confused about? I think that your callers, y'all have been on the money tonight. And yeah, I think I agree with just about everything y'all saying. Everything is saying about this whole situation. And I do think I'm gonna go rewatch it, but that could be a time when they swap the baby out. You could be 100% right about that.
I definitely think it was. Another thing about fairy lore, which would make sense with the missing kids, unless they are eating them, like you said, but they say that some of them remember they were fairies, the babies, so they'll just up and leave their human family and go back to the fairies. And I think that would account for all those missing kids, unless they're eating them because that weird baby back stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my daughter definitely thought that she was the mixed one too. We discussed it before they showed which one the parents were. I just said I'd tell you that you weren't alone. I
What
definitely was like,
about
oh,
what
those are
about
her
what
parents.
about the other caller? I don't know if you heard. Another caller called in and said that he believes that Apollo is a changeling.
Okay, so I didn't hear that, but I've been thinking about that too, and I'm not sure. So I agree with you that one weird white guy, he's definitely a fairy
Mm-hmm.
because he's just trying to cause mayhem, like at any cost. And I don't know, because if his father was a changeling or if he was a fairy, that would just make Apollo like half fae.
Yeah. So what do you say? This theory he broke down, and he was saying that his father married the mom. They had Apollo, but the dad swapped Apollo out with a changeling, and then the baby, the real Apollo, wound up dying, and she raised a changeling because she was devastated about it, and he's really just a changeling.
Okay, so that part doesn't make sense to me. So, okay, if his father, the point of the changelings is they don't want those kids
Mm-hmm.
necessarily. But so I don't see why he would swap it out and then raise another weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't he just stay with his fae son? He might have just wanted to take him because he's half fae, and then his mom was like, nah, he's going to stay with us for witches. That's not, I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily think he's a changeling. He might be. I don't know. Now I have to think on that.
Yeah, the show is called The Changeling. He is the star of the show. So that would be it. If the red suitcase really was, and she threw it in the water, the real baby Apollo, who is in the water, and
Oh my God, that's so cliche. I didn't hear that part. Jesus.
So I think some things of that make sense. And everything.
I would really hope she wouldn't have kept a dead baby all the time, but people do. So something that you said before that messed me up too, when you said there's a bunch of changelings just walking around in the world. So I was like, wait a minute, I have to look this up. So it said that in the lore, when they get older, either they're like that, if they remember they're still fairies, because some don't. The ones that don't remember they're fairies tend to be nice humans, caring, loving, and Apollo kind of is, except for he pulled that whole move on, I was going to swear, I stopped myself, on his man, which didn't make any sense because it felt out of character for him to lie about the book. And it seemed like when he had the baby around him, like it had him in a spell almost, or was influencing him, because he was getting nastier and nastier towards Emma. Because if you thought your chick has postpartum depression, like even the fight about going to get him baptized, that's not a hill to die on. He would be like, okay, my mom's saying it, you were saying it.
I think that when your child is baptized, it prevents them from being taken by the
it does,
right?
Yes, that's part of the lore also, which would explain why the mom wanted it. But I'm saying, if you're Apollo and your girl's like, all right, let's just get him baptized, and you think she has postpartum depression, and your mom's been harassing you, to ease both of them, when you just go do it. But he's like, no, my baby ain't going nowhere without you. It just seemed like he changed a little bit. And then once the baby was gone and he came home from jail, he was back to his regular self and trying to pay everyone back for everything, and didn't want the book money, and was being honest, and gave Patrice the book. You know what I don't know. It's like,
yeah. So I think that it could be explained in one way. He found the book. He wanted. He knew if he told Patrice back then, he'd have to split the money. He didn't want to split the money because he wanted to buy a house for him and his baby and his baby mama. But then once he's seen how crazy she was and she killed the baby, he felt bad and he felt like, damn, I should have just split this money with this dude. I ain't gonna have no family. I ain't buying no house with them. So fuck it. Let me just give this dude, because he was gonna kill himself. And Patrice pointed it out. So he's like, yo, you take this book, take the money. I'm gonna kill myself anyway. And then Patrice is like, listen, I best see you in the morning. I know what that look is. You know what I mean? I don't want to hear nothing like that. So it could be a situation like that.
No, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you, because there's a lot of people that do that, but there's also a lot of people who do the right thing when no one's looking, and he had seemed to be a character like that. But then I was shocked, honestly, when he said he didn't find anything. I was like, what? Because he didn't seem like that type of dude.
Yeah, it says Patrice's last name is Green. Check the credits. What is there anyone else whose last name is Green that I'm missing here? Who's Green? I don't know.
I know his screen name on Facebook is Harry Green or something like that.
And someone is saying that William in the chat, people saying William is the Norwegian photographer who took the picture of Emma. Well, he did say he was he was Norwegian.
The fairy?
Yeah. William. He said William Wheeler is the.
Oh, that's his name. I always call him the white guy. Okay, so. Oh.
That he's the.
You know what?
The photographer.
I didn't believe you that she got taken over, but I do now because it makes sense. And the witches would have known, like, when she got there, because they said she was seeing the pain, and they would have known too, like, she's not, there's something, yeah.
No, I think all these witches have been taking over the bodies of these people, of regular people. Again, it says the spell specifically says 3 wishes for your life.
Yeah.
That means you got to give up your wife for these 3 wishes. So I think that old black lady is inside of that body of her. I don't think that's Emma. I think Emma's inside the old black lady's body, and she's gone.
I agree. In Brazil, somewhere on the side of a lagoon.
Yep, sitting in there, just sitting there, going crazy.
Because I did watch Skeleton Key. So don't you think she would be trying to contact Apollo somehow, or trying to get back, or going to the embassy?
I mean, it's not easy to contact someone from down the block, let alone in a different country. When you maybe don't even realize what's going on, or you don't know this, and and everything else, and you just like, wait a second, what the fuck is really going on here? And she could die. That old lady might have been ready to croak. She may not be there. She could be dead.
That's true too.
So
I don't know. Now you have a ton to think about.
That's great. I'm glad you do, and I'm glad that you called in. You gave a lot of great points, and you and your daughter. I'll kick around some more ideas.
She got so excited when he said he's from Syracuse, because that's where we live.
Where you live in Syracuse?
She was like, yeah.
Nice. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what it is.
She said Syracuse, and then they said it in The Other Black Girl too. I don't know if you watch that show, but it's on Hulu. It's another weird one.
Yeah, no, I've been to Syracuse many times. I go to Canastota every year to go to the Boxing Hall of Fame and stuff. Oh. So I'm always over there and stuff like that. I'm about there. I'm about to tell where I'm living and stuff like that. But no, when they said Boonesville, I was like, I know Boonesville.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I've been to Boonesville many a time.
My friend is the psychics there and stuff.
Yeah, I've been there many a times. Damn Boone. I say ain't nothing there. And she was definitely right about that. They shit up in Boonesville.
That's weird.
At all. But thank you for calling in. And you gave me a lot to think about.
No problem.
Definitely call back in again. Tell your daughter we said what up.
Okay.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Peace. Listen, you see, this is what happens when people call it. There's a lot of things we over here. See, Jackie C. See, Tony, there are some ladies here near you. There are some near me, no doubt about it. But you know what I mean? But I think she made some interesting points in there too, especially with giving us more of this changeling lore that we have to dive deeper into to know exactly. And oh, we have another call now. Now you're rolling. First KP. Nope, 916. Let's go.
Call from.
The voice at 916.
Ooh.
To accept, press 1.
We definitely accepting this call. How are you?
Hello, I'm well. How are you today?
I am doing great, especially now that I'm hearing from you. Hope everything went well with you.
It did. This show. Oh my God. The thing is because it mixed so much of reality with the fantasy and the lore and the mythology. It's kind of hard to suss through it who is actually human and just acting different because of the circumstances, or is there actually anything magical going on?
Mhm.
And based on that, talking about Patrice, I think Patrice is just a regular guy. He's a book guy. He's got that hustle because that's the kind of energy you have to have when you're looking through stuff trying to find something valuable. So I don't think that he is anything nefarious for Apollo. And I think when baby Brian died, he did create a website as a tribute, but it was taken over by, internet trolls like you see every day. That's when you have the intermix between the mythology
Mhm.
and real life stuff. So I believe Patrice at face value. I think he's a good friend and he's trying to help his friend out. He's just got his little quirks, you know.
I I
So
think that it's something about him. That whole room that he did the internet stuff in was specifically blue. And again, I looked at the blue
mhm,
and the red, and I believe the red is represents witches and the blue represents changelings. Maybe they not that
mhm.
he is a changeling, but the fact that they did the blue room when he was doing the investigation on William Wheeler makes me think that William Wheeler is a fairy because of it.
Hmm. Now, why are we necessarily thinking William is a fairy? Is it because of what he has done?
Well,
Couldn't he be just some demented,
well,
internet troll that's just, maybe something happened to him and he's, gone a little nutty
there's no doubt, but
and
we
trying to
we
get people
we,
back?
we hear that the fairies like to eat children, and his
Mm,
post, both of his posts that he put up about baby Brian was about eating food. He first one was like a dinner dedicated to the baby Brian. It was boiled onions and something else, and then the next post was
mhm,
about food. So that's that. And two, when
mhm,
he got his ass whipped, I mean, Apollo specifically said to him, "How the hell are you alive? Like you shouldn't
mhm.
have been able to survive. You're more than human to be able to survive that ass whipping." And he popped right up from that ass whipping. It wasn't like he was
That's
laying
true.
there and just he popped right up and got his glasses on and started cracking jokes and shit and everything else. So it just seems
That's
like
true, but
when you look at these things, it seems like he's just a little bit more than human than just the average person taking a whooping like that.
yeah, I think he's just crazy myself. That's just I just kind of I have that sense that he's just crazy, and he took that ass whooping, and a normal guy would not get up, but he got up, and I think that we will find out soon. There's something that's connecting him to changeling babies. Now, whether he is actually a changeling himself, I don't know if I'm ready to
Yeah,
accept
so
that,
I always
but
say changing. I probably shouldn't, but I'm meaning more that he's a fairy more than a changeling
okay.
baby himself. I think his baby, one of his babies had to be because his wife killed one of them and kept the other.
Mm,
So maybe
mhm,
one of his
mhm.
babies got swapped out and the wife killed him, straight up killed him. And that's what had him trying to get to that island to find the mom again.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, and I've seen a lot of stuff in the chat in regards to, well, well, how come Apollo found the island first time around, and William had been trolling up and down looking for the island all over the area and could never find it? I do agree with the chat saying that it was the red string,
Okay.
and that the red string grants wishes. And what Apollo wanted mostly in his heart was to find Emma. And he believes that Emma could be there. And so he was able to point it out through the glamour that the wise ones had put on the island, um, where William couldn't. So I think that that string is not a protection thing, but it does grant wishes. And one last thing
Mm-hmm.
overall is that Apollo, um, he had to be broken down in order for him to accept the possibility. Now, we're not saying he accepts it completely yet, but the possibility that Emma may have been right, he had to be broken down to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's evident when he was going to give Patrice and his fiance book, because he was settling all of his business before he was going to unlife himself. So I think that is what we're seeing, that he has been broken down to the extent where he's willing to accept things that he would never have accepted before, like the fact that there are witches, wise ones, the fact that there is glamour, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that maybe these babies aren't babies, and all these other things.
I
So
agree with you.
yeah,
I agree. I think that's the
yeah.
humble pie that she's trying to serve.
Mhm. This is true. This is true, and it's been so great, this chat and this call in. People are participating. See how you get people motivated and activated, Tony?
I have to threaten
You
them, I
got
think.
that kind of thing. You got that kind of thing. All right. Well, thank you for hearing my call, and hello, chat, and keep them coming. And Tony, as always, stay sexy, baby.
Thank you so much. And you do too.
All right. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was the voice of 916. Y'all got me going here. I'm I was gonna get off and not do, but we're gonna grab another beer and we're gonna keep talking. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Be right back. 1 second. All right, we're back. We're back. Pour this in here. Y'all have made some very interesting points and everything 100%. Your string could be the key of how he found the island. Apollo could be a changeling altogether. All these things are valid and possible. So I don't think that anything that was said here could not be the case. It definitely could be. 100%. So we're talking about lore. We're talking a little bit about lore. The caller from Syracuse. Let's keep them coming. We got another one. This is 84868. 864.
Call from.
Dre, no cap 1060.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
What's going on? You rocking with the Don Tuna Teflon. Who we speaking to?
This Dre, man, no cap 63. I was in the chat. I just had a question.
Yes, sir.
I tried to ask the chat. Is it possible that when Apollo was a kid, because he keep having flashbacks and he can't get past a certain point, is it possible that he discovered his father was quote unquote a monster, so he offed him, and the mama covered it up? disposed his dad's body and really won't tell him, like guarding them by saying they divorced, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And outside forces know the power that Apollo had as a kid. Therefore, it was all set up from jump. Him being attracted to Emma, she reaching out to him after she came back from Brazil. They getting married, having a baby, like the witches or whatever can see that in the future and possibly wanted that kid for maybe strength gain or something like that.
All right.
They see how a child was so powerful. I'm just speculating. I know I went everywhere with it, but
No, you
that's
didn't.
just
No. I mean, is it possible? Yes. What we have to believe is that would Apollo have some type of power to kill his father back then when he was a baby? I just don't know if unless he has some unless these changeling and I mean, I don't know if he's a changeling, but I don't know what power he could have had to kill. I mean, they do it all could be a mislead, right? Like we see the father come and he rips off the mask and he blows blue smoke out of his mouth, right?
yeah.
Maybe that's Apollo's version of it, but not what really happened. Maybe somehow he died from some type of smoke that Apollo was around, right? Maybe
What?
it could be a situation like that. So it could be as we seen them do that before when we dealt with Emma, and she seen things differently when she was a child, and it wasn't until her sister put the record straight that we seen it flipped around the way it actually happened.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So what made me think of that was when the mom came home from working on a Saturday and she seen the steam smoke coming from under the door.
Yep.
It wasn't blue, so it made me think of the tub where young Apollo was running the bath water,
Hmm.
and he heard the door knock. And when he opened the door, it was his dad who blew the blue smoke. But when the mom came to the door, I'm thinking that's the same exact event. They just showing us pieces and fragments of it. But what made me think that Apollo might have killed him is because Apollo's still here.
Hmm.
The dad isn't.
Yep.
And they keep showing the mom standing at that pier, with that blue suitcase, what it showed flashbacks of, and she obviously somebody mentioned it already, the previous caller or the previous caller saying when he said, "Come with me," she said, "What did you say?" So it's almost like she's having flashbacks, but there's something obviously she's not telling him. And only thing we know is Apollo's dad was supernatural.
Hmm.
I don't know which side of the force he's on, but and Apollo can't remember anything, and he's seen to be a very intelligent brother,
Hmm.
knowing about books and whatnot. But that part of his life is blank.
Well, I'll give my opinion of what I think happened. I've heard a lot of people's theories so far tonight, and I haven't really put a lot of my stuff out there. So I think what happened in this situation is this. Father came to the house. He said he blew the blue smoke out, had a mask on, whatever. He said, "You're gonna come with me." We see him walk towards the bathroom door. We see that there's steam coming out the door. Again, steam. The steam when when they killed baby Brian, right? Again,
Yeah.
everything is parallel, right? From
Yes.
what we've seen from the beginning, we've seen Apollo say the same words that his father said, right? Almost the same thing. So what I think happened was he saw him walk towards the bathroom. If he was actually taking his son out the house, he would turn around and walk out the door. But I think the mother came, seen him trying to take the baby, trying to take him, got into a physical altercation with the father, wind up killing the father in maybe the hot bathtub water, drowned him in the bathtub water, put him
Yeah. Yeah.
somehow
I can
in
see
the
that.
steam, and that's why Apollo remembers the steam, and that's why when she was on the pier, she had the bruises on her face
Right.
and
Right. Okay.
disposed of his body in the suitcase?
Oh man, you just blew my mind with that because yeah, he did. I mean, if all that happened in let's say a short span of time, then obviously she caught the dad in the house, and that explains the bruises.
What she
And
specifically says, that wasn't a dream. That really happened. How would she know that happened if she wasn't there?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah, that did something. Um, wow, I'm about to go back and watch it again, man. You just you just messed me up with that. Oh man. Yeah, I appreciate that.
No doubt
For real.
about it, man. No doubt about it. You know, that
Well, it's good talking to you, brother.
great talking to you too, bro. Call back, definitely.
Most definitely.
All right, let's let me and accept this call.
Call from
Kevin.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press
What's going on? You rocking with the Don Tony Teflon.
How we doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Enjoying my day off today.
Oh, this is my boy, Cat. I knew when I said I was looking at the number, and I was like 518. And then when I heard your voice, I was like, "This is my man, Cat, right here. What's going on, brother?"
There you go. So I was listening to some of your theories tonight, and it kind of got me thinking about something else too, because we're talking about the steam that we saw in the bedroom.
Yes.
I'm sorry, in the bathroom when we saw the younger Apollo with his father, right?
Yes.
And I noticed that now. Granted, we're talking two different things here, but the fog around the island, when he finds the island, when he's riding with the other guy that couldn't find the island before he took Apollo on the boat with him.
Mm-hmm.
So is there some, am I trying to put two things together here?
No, I think you could be onto it when, so I think again, we have a couple of things to smoke. We have the smoke inside, the steam that's in the bathroom. We have the blue smoke that comes out of his father's mouth. And then we have the smoke fog that's by the island. I think his mother is connected to the witches. Like she's got some witch in her. She's a witch. So I think all three things tied together. And I think the fog is also something that helps to hide the island. And like you can only be, whether you have witch's blood or it's the string on his finger that makes him see. Either one of those definitely work, but I do think that you're definitely on to something when it comes down to that. You know what I mean? Without a shadow of a doubt.
Because it's funny though, because we don't see the fog once he gets on the island, right? Because we don't see that fog when he's on the island.
So it's only out there, probably masking everything that else is going on there. So that's definitely a great point at the fog. And again, if the fog is associated with the witches and everything else, and that's what they're using to keep everybody back, or you can't see through the fog unless you got witch's blood or that string, it definitely would work with the whole situation. No, I think that you're onto that.
So, and I know we talked about it at work, but the suitcase,
yes,
that we see at the end of the pier,
yep,
are you still going with that theory that we talked about, where you think it's we tried to figure out what's inside that suitcase because we don't know.
No, I think that I'm gonna go with me personally I think it's the dad's body. The mom killed him. For trying to take him away.
Right. When she got to the apartment.
Yeah, she caught him trying to take him away, and she came in and killed him. And then she put what I don't know. It may not be the whole body. Maybe she put a piece of. She got rid of certain things, and the other things she put in the pier. Like maybe I don't know. Maybe she put the head, the hands, and the feet. Right, those are the identifying markers of a person. And she put that in the suitcase and got rid of that and somehow disposed of the rest of the body somewhere else.
and another thing, I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time, but the other thing that we were talking about too, that dude that took Apollo over to the island on the boat.
Yep.
I am still flabbergasted that guy took a beating like he did, and the only thing he was worried, he got up like nothing happened. It was like, oh, at least I got my glasses.
Yeah, that's why he has to be a fairy or something. Because you don't take a beating like that as a regular, and especially when you have Apollo say to him, "Damn, how come you ain't dead?" You know?
Right. I mean, I mean, he doesn't look like much of a person there. You know what I mean? That could take a beating like that and get up and be like, "Yeah, where's my beer?" You know?
Especially when they're talking about this guy never had sex with a woman in his life. He never did. You know, he's just saying that how simple of a man that he looks, and now the guy can take a beating that Rocky couldn't take. You know, there's something going on here.
Oh man. Well, my wife and I, we're loving the show, and you know, we're following you, and we're testing the theories out and seeing where everything goes. So we're with you.
I truly appreciate it. Tell your wife I said what up and everything, and I'll see you back on Thursday.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good night.
And my boy right there checking in with us right now, man, Kev Dog and everything else. And what up to Tamara, who's in the chat, Tamara Davis, you know, part of the 2 of the 3 T's is in the building and everything else right now. And all that. Thank you. And all that. We got we had a call come through. We got another one. We're gonna take this right now.
Call from
Lenny.
To accept, press 1.
You're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who is this?
Hello?
Hi, you're rocking with the Don Tony Teflon. Who is this?
Hi, yeah, so I've been watching, and can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm trying. What's your name so I know how to address you?
It's Lenise.
All right, Lenise. All right, what's good, Lenise?
So I've been watching, and I'm just kind of confused about his mom. I understand you guys have been talking about that. She probably kind of knew that Brian was not good, but I'm still kind of confused on why she would leave her son at home. Like, if I know that my husband could probably try to take my son, or it's just weird to me.
It just the way they played it off was that she needed this money to maintain her lifestyle, that as primitive as it was, and she had no other choice to keep this job than to leave the baby at home to babysit himself. Again, in modern times right now, right, we see that television shows such as Barney or whatever you want to, whatever generation you are at, are used to babysit children, right? Basically, you know. So back then, you know, you didn't do that, but that's what she did. She did a modern day, but usually, you know, obviously, if Barney's babysitting your child, you're inside the house with the baby and everything else. And she figured, hey, he was such a good kid that he acted so good that I can just sit him in front of this TV and he's going to sit here until I get back and I don't have anything to worry. So that's the way she put it out there. Whether she knew the threat of him coming back is another story.
Right. Yeah, because you're right. The kid was good, but the kid was never the issue. It was her husband, right? That's in my mind. And also about the theory you guys are talking about with the smoke. I think Brian's still alive, and I think that the steam from the bathroom, he might have been trying to hurt Apollo, like maybe drown him.
Okay.
Just based off of what Emma burned her child to kill him, right?
Yep.
So it's like that's what I think, but who knows?
Now, the steam is definitely important to it all, right? And no doubt about it. And but the way I see it is that if it's parallel, and we've seen it, and we've seen Emma burn baby Brian with the steam pot, would it not be the same thing if it's his father named Brian died in the steaming tub, like the mom drowned him in?
Right. Yeah, that could be a possibility too.
It could be.
So that would, to me, would be the similarities for the Bryans and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like the show. I mean, I hope that I hate that it's only a couple more episodes left, and then the writer's strike, so it might not come back on for a few more years, but we'll see.
Let's hope for the best.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for accepting my call, and I'll still continue to tune in.
Anytime. Thank you so much for calling in.
No problem. Bye-bye.
Bye. And that is that. And the Mod Mary's in the bill. I have not seen Mod Mary in a very long time, but I'm glad that. So Stephen Smith asks, what's the number to call in? It's on the crawl, right on the screen. I mean, you can look right down there on the screen, and the crawl's going that way or whatever, and it shows it right there. But I'll be right back one second. We'll keep the calls coming. Don't call right now. Wait till you see me come back, and then keep it going. All right, 1 2 1 2. The Don is back. I am back. All right, back in here and everything else. Sorry about that. All that. So what up? What up, my Mary? Hopefully you're rocking with us again. And staying in here and everything else. I had a Tamara Davis is saying I had a purple phase one after a few bottles of gin. What are we talking about here? I just jumped in the conversation. I don't know what we talking about. What's the number? The number again is on the crawl, on the bottom of the screen. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it's right there. It says call-in number 518-290-0848. 518-290-0848. If you want to call in, you could definitely call in. We're here. We're taking off. We're talking about the change. I think my theory is solid. I think it will be proven to be true. I'll put the video up on it tomorrow of what's going on. We'll see. We'll see if the Don is right on that one or not. We'll see, but I think my theory is solid, and everything else explains a lot of stuff away that we see going on there. But we'll put the video up and everything else tomorrow. I'm sure people like it. But I also think that the theories that everybody else has come up with, all you calls, I think you have all came up with amazing theories. And I think that a lot of y'all have to be true. Now, we all can't be right. All right? We all can't be right. But y'all might be right. I love my hair. I love my hair. You better love it, girl. We love it too. Mika says, did anyone catch how the boss at the library was kind of dismissive of Emma missing kind of cold? I wonder if she was the boss of the library was kind of dismissive of Emma's missing kid. I guess that means kid. Emma's missing kid of Cole. I wonder if she was in on it. I don't know if the boss was in on it. It could be. He said it ain't letting me call. It should. I don't know why it wouldn't. Again, 518-290-0848. I don't know why it wouldn't. Been working all night long, so I'll give it another shot and just give it a shot. You got to put a 1 before 518. I'm sure you know that, but just in case, you know what I mean. But it should let you call him. Brian, lying on the floor in the new trailer. I haven't seen the new trailer at all, so I would have to see the trailer. I have not seen. Where is this trailer located? Is it on YouTube? I haven't seen the trailer for the next episode. Is it on Apple? Is it on YouTube? I would need to know. There we go. Let me know. We got the call. Let's see if this is good.
Call from
Jermaine.
to accept, press 1.
What's the deal, Jermaine? You're rocking with the Don Tony Tuck line. What's going on?
Hello, how's it going?
I'm good. What's going on with you?
I was calling in just to basically state a few things. I was reading that iron ascends fairies, and I thought it was peculiar that Emma had that heavy bag of what I assume is iron chains.
Yes, yes.
And she used them on Apollo. So that would win, the idea that Apollo is actually a fairy.
All right, so you say that the chains themselves affect fairies a certain way?
Iron in particular, iron or sometimes silver, but definitely iron. And because that bag was so heavy, I'm assuming they were iron chains, and she used them on Apollo.
So iron is, I gotta look it up. What do they do to fairies exactly?
Iron, apparently, if you use like an iron knife and cut a part of a fairy, that part can't grow back. And it can also kill them just like other metals would kill a human.
It says right here, cold iron is historically believed to repel, contain, or harm ghosts, fairies, witches, and other supernatural creatures. This belief continued into later superstitions in a number of forms. Nailing a iron horseshoe to a door was said to repel evil spirits, or later to bring good luck.
Right, that's the same thing I read. So I guess that could lend to the idea that Apollo is a witch or a fairy. But either way, she used those chains particularly on him. I thought they were to restrain her. I thought she was trying to restrain herself from killing the child, but obviously we saw that she actually used them on Apollo.
I agree with both statements. I did think it was used for her to do it, but it was definitely for Apollo to hold him back while she did what she did.
Right, and who was the woman that she got the chains from? You think that was just like another one of the wise women?
It was the woman. It was the one who did that. I'm forgetting the head lady's name, but she sent her to her to get the chain. Yeah, the head lady sent her to her to get the chain.
Right, and she also used what I assume is an iron hammer to hit Apollo in the face.
Yeah,
and he didn't necessarily. That scar didn't heal.
No, it didn't heal. I mean that definitely points in that direction. That he definitely had some type of that blood inside of his body.
Another couple of things. I agree with you. I thought before you even said it that Apollo's mother had killed his father, since we never see him again. I thought it was odd why he left in the first place, and they never really explained why he just was all so in love with her that he pursued her as persistently as he did, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared one day.
Yeah, no, she off him.
And do you think that William was the one who was following both of them and sending and then deleting the pictures from Emma or to Emma? And then why would he do that in particular to her? Because he thought or knew that she was a witch, or she was inhabited by a witch?
I think that it was the witches that did it. I don't think it was William that was doing that.
But William mentions that he was following him because he mentioned seeing him at the park, and the first picture wasn't of him at the park. So, but he definitely was following him for a long time, as we found out, even ever since the train.
He could have done it, but the only reason I would say he didn't do it would be the fact that it led her to Cal and the witches and that's what led her to kill the Changeling. And if that was why he would want that to happen,
because he wanted to find that island.
Could be. Could be.
Okay, well, I started actually watching your program because of From, and it's just cool to see you actually paying attention to this show, which I was curious about. And good commentary. Thank you very much for the content.
No, thank you for calling in again. I appreciate you for helping the channel out and helping the channel go. Peace out, my brother.
Thank you.
All right, we have a super chat. We'll take the calls are coming in. We'll take this super chat. Let's take this call. Let me take it, and then we'll do the super
Call
chat.
from.
And good commentary. Thank you very much.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
What's going on? You rock with the Don Tony Teflon? Who's calling?
That's my dog. Yo, what up? What up, Tef? Man, I got a couple questions for you.
No doubt. Let me take this super chat real quick.
Yeah, I know, man. How much I got to spend for you to talk to me?
And then I'll take that. So super chats from Luna. Thank you so much for the $10. She says the book Apollo was looking at the library was when he first met Emma.
Bro, I spend 10, bro. I spend whatever, dog. I just want to talk to you, my nigga.
Yeah, I hear you. 1 second. Just give me a second.
Yes,
The other by Thomas Tyson. It describes a homegrown monster in the eerie examination.
Hey, yo, we gonna have a lot of good talks, bro. I want to talk to you personally, bro.
All right.
All right, for real. Give me a chance, though.
All right. That dwells within ever. All right, Luna, we're gonna. I'm gonna play this a little second. So what's good?
Yeah, do what you do, man. Go ahead.
Let's good.
I gotta grab this pizza for my babies and shit, but like, I'm gonna wait for you.
No, we good. Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna wait for you.
No, we good. What you want to talk about, bro?
All right, so listen. Bro, I love your theories, man. You got great theories, man. Like I be at work and I love what you're doing. You probably hear that 1,000 times over.
No, I don't. But
and I love the way. No. I love your theories, bro, because you think the same way I think. I'm a Gemini. I don't know if you're a Gemini or not, dog, but I am a Gemini. I think like crazy in the same way that you're moving. But the truth about the matter is, dog, like your theories be like on point. But I have so many questions I want to ask you. Like the first one, do you really? I don't know if I should ask you on this call though, like, because this is not about From. We should be talking about the Changeling.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you truly really think that William is a vampire? I'm just throwing something random out there, bro. Just to talk to you.
I don't think that William is a vampire. I think that William's most likely a fairy if it's going to be anything other than a human being.
So I'm gonna just cut to the chase. Like, can you just tell me your full theory of what you think it really is? Because I be watching your videos and sometimes it hits, sometimes it don't. But I love watching them.
All right. What is?
So I want your theories, bro. Like I want to hear you talk and explain your theories, bro. Like I want to hear that, bro. I really want to hear your theories.
Yeah,
you break them down. You just study.
I got a bunch. I got a bunch of them. So you have to be a little more specific when asking.
All right, so I can be way more specific, bro. But I'll just be in general. You have to be specific on your theory on William being like a fairy and all that. What do you think the end game is?
So if William is a failure, I given the reasons I would say number one is that when you look at the post that he put up when he was on the baby website, they were all about
talk that shit. Kindergarten.
Yeah, when he was kindergarten, it was all about eating.
Yeah, I know.
It was all about.
I'm on your same shit, bro.
Yeah, it was about eating the food and everything else and all that, and eating the kids. And he kept bringing up that. We hear in the books that fairies like to eat children. So he said.
So do you think he's a troll?
No, he's not a troll.
troll.
No. He's masquerading as a troll, but he's not a troll.
So who's gonna be the troll?
I don't think that there are any trolls. If you're saying like a physically real troll, I don't think there's any trolls in there.
No, there's gonna be a troll, man. I read the book before.
Oh, I never read.
Be a troll, but I read the book. But I ain't gonna ruin your thing though. Bro, I've called before, bro. I love your style, bro. Like, bro, I'm not even a cat, man. No homo, no nothing, bro. I love your shit, bro. Because I love you, bro. Because you get me through work, bro. You get me through work.
I appreciate that.
You get me.
Appreciate that.
And yeah, man, that's love, nigga. I'm gonna start getting that. Put some money your way. What you need, man? Whatever you need. But the questions I want to ask is, what do you think, though? You said the fairies. You think because on this, so I'm gonna ask you about that from, bro. You caught me on that from. I want to ask you about that from, but I don't think we can talk about from.
All right, I'll give you one from question right now before we rock. All right, give me one thing on the front. Go ahead.
You gonna give me one from? You really want to ask that question?
Yeah, ask the question. Go ahead.
No, I ain't gonna ask the question for you, bro, because the truth is, I'd rather see you find it, bro. I'll give you one. I'll give you one from question right now, because you have good analogy. You have good insight. So, what is the catalysis from? What is the catalysis? Not what is the outcome? What is the catalysis
of the whole?
Me and my homeboy talk about this, bro. I'm in Ohio, bro. OSU student, all that shit. We do our thing, and I do my thing, bro. I ain't gonna talk too much thing. We good out here. I ain't no punk and no shit, but I ain't gonna talk about that. But we fuck with you, bro. Like, man, we fuck with Teflon 9. That's hard. All of us, bro. Hey, bro, and we found you on some random shit. Went on, like, oh, Teflon. Oh, that's too cool. And next thing you know, everybody come pick up from 2, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5. You feel me? Like, yo, we fucking with Teflon. Yeah, you got a little following out here.
Well, I appreciate it,
me, bro. Like,
I definitely appreciate it. No doubt about it.
You ain't gotta appreciate it, bro. We gonna send some bread your way and all that. But ask me, what is the catalysis? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, my brother would be happy for asking that. God, I wish my brother was here because he's gonna put me on you. I wish he could ask the question. For real,
so I've
career.
said it before. I think that the whole thing is when it all comes down to and from and all that, you're gonna see that it's an experiment that's being run the whole time.
So you don't think it's a dream though?
No,
right?
It's not a dream.
You said it's not a dream. It's not aliens. Bro, I watch your shit like a lot, bro. It's not a dream. It's not an aliens. I even watched the last thing. You said that she went through this thing to there's a whole bunch of shit you said. I'm so sorry.
No, it is aliens, but it's an experiment being done with the aliens and stuff. But there's no doubt about it. That
you sticking to the aliens, ain't you?
It's gonna be aliens. That's a guarantee. Guaranteed.
Oh, man.
You could take it to the bank. But let me go. I gotta hit this super chat. Listen, thank you for the support. Thank you for rocking with me. And definitely hit me back. And when I'm doing from stream, call me back and we'll really get into it. And make sure
I want to talk more. When can I talk more?
Anytime you call back. Just call back.
All right, so how much money I spend right now to talk more?
It's not, just call back. You ain't gotta spend no money.
dog, I'm trying to talk to you on some real shit, bro. Like real for real.
I know.
But I mean, if you got to do your thing, bro. I understand.
All right, my bro. I want.
All right, bro. Holler at me.
Well, that was, I don't know what that was. But my man from Ohio. Let me address the super chat that was put out there by Luna. Thank you so much, Luna, for the super chat. She goes, the book Apollo was looking at in the library when he first met Emma was The Others by Thomas Tyson, or whatever. Let's just say Tyson. It sounds better. It describes a homegrown monster in an eerie examination of the darkest that dwells inside of everyone. So I'll have to look at the book to see exactly what it is. There was 3 books there that he was at. So I think that the book that he was actually before he grabbed, there was 3 books there that they showed specifically. But I do believe that if it was done like this, it sounds like it's talking somewhat about what a changeling would be, right? It's a homegrown monster from the darkness that dwells within everybody. So if he has the ability to have this monster inside of him, or say this changeling or anything, or he has both the witch and the fairy blood inside of him, is he the homegrown monster himself and everything else? But I do Again, the show is called The Changeling. It's either got to do with his baby being swapped out and being a changeling, or he himself being a changeling and everything else and all that good stuff. If anyone's right, so they're asking for the Cash App and everything else. All my information is on the bottom of the crawl. It says right there, Cash App is $ Tony Teflon 545. Call-in number is 518-290-0848. So it's all on the bottom of the screen just going by. If you do want to send me something to Cash App, it's there. I appreciate it. If you want the super chat, I appreciate it. And the number's right there. So anything else. But yeah, so I think Luna, you should just call in and talk about your stuff. Because when you call in, you do a great job too. You know what I mean? I really would appreciate it and everything else if you did. And all that stuff and all that and everything else. Now that the dude was mad cool. I definitely would like to chop it up and everything else about From right now, but y'all know From is my shit. I'm about to chop, but I just can't chop it up. We talking about the Changeling and stuff, so I can't really get into that and everything else and all that good stuff and everything. Definitely hit that thumbs up for your boy out there. You know what I mean? Your boy Tony Teflon, Don Queens, New York. We in the building right now. Luna, you know, call in. It's better if you call in and we can go through it and everything else. Chrisabel said, I just found out about the show today and I'm caught up. Oh, how did you feel about the show? You caught up? Did you like it? I mean, you watched it also. I'm assuming you liked it and everything else. You know what I mean? Listen to your boy C Note in the building right here. You know what I mean? Saying everything, putting that thumbs up for your boy and everything else. We here every week. Gonna be here twice a week, doing 2 streams a week on this show. Try to do one on Thursday and try to do one on Wednesday. Well, not Thursday. It comes out Friday. See, I'd rather do this show on Monday, this initial one on Monday, and then do one Thursday. But Monday night is Monday Night Football. It's Monday Night Football. It's hard for me to come on there on Monday and do everything else and all that. See, I don't think I'm not famous at all. I don't know about that. I ain't famous at all. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. You know, but talking about the mythology, let's go through it real quick if we can. What up, Lady Ace? The lady's name who was in The Witches. We got another call. We have to get in there and everything else. Let's take the call.
Call from.
I'm trying to get the Cash App.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
What's going on?
What's the Cash App, bro?
So if you any information, it's on the crawl on the screen. You see the crawl on the bottom of the screen?
Nah, on that. Just give me the Cash App so I can send it to you right now, man.
Yeah, everything's on the bottom of the screen. If you look, I think I gotta look myself because I don't even know. It's dollars.
Nah, man, I don't know that. Just tell me right now. What is it? Just tell me right now so I'll send the bread.
Yeah, it says the Cash App is $.
Man, we don't. Yeah, just get us the Cash App, but we don't care about none of that, bro. We supporting motherfucking Tony all day, dog.
I appreciate.
That's what we doing.
I appreciate $ Tony Teflon 545.
Right. So $ Tony, you gotta stop for this, dog. I'm gonna send like 50. Right.
Yeah, it's $ Tony Teflon 545. That's what it is. It's on the bottom of the crawl, on the bottom of the screen. If anyone's interested in donating to the Cash App, you know what I mean. That's
I got you, dog. We gonna send some bread your way, bro.
Well, I appreciate
I'm gonna bother the fuck out you, dog, because I love you, dog. You really be doing your thing.
I appreciate it, brother. 100%. All right, I guess he hung up there, but yeah, thank you so much. You know what I mean? Anybody who wants to send and all that, Miss Shad Divas, did he call back to ask? I don't know if he called back to ask the question. This is talk. I mean, if you want to chat with me, I guess who knows? $ Tony Teflon 545, as my man C Note put up in there, right? That's what it is and everything else. That's who I am and all that good stuff. Again, so we were talking about mythology in there. Cow mythology. Let's go through it real quick. Cow, who is the leader of the witches, the leader of the wise ones, name is Castillo. That's what she says, right? Castillo. It's Cal short for Castillo. So when we deal with Castillo and the mythology of Castillo, we could see that this is a woman who said that she was going to spend her life as a virgin, and then Zeus came down and seduced her, got her pregnant. When Zeus's wife found out that she was pregnant, she cursed her because she gave birth to Zeus's son. She cursed her and turned her into a bear. And then the son grew up and became a great hunter. And when this son found his mother, not knowing it was his mother, hunting, and was about to kill her, Zeus then raised her to the heavens and made her into the star configuration that we see her out there. Right? So that is what that is. And all that. That is what that constellation is out there. So what does that mean? If you look at Apollo real quick, and you deal with Apollo, and you deal with him being the god Apollo, and we hear him talk about being the god Apollo a lot. So we have to truly think that some of this Greek mythology has to come into play. Castillo was someone who served the god Apollo's twin sister, right? So that must mean something. They didn't just give that name for no reason. They gave her that name for something else. Yeah, William did say that. William said the fairies said the vampires can't come unless you. He says like a vampire, right? And they can't come unless you welcome them in, and everything else. But I do think the fact that they do stress that god Apollo situation, that the Greek gods have something to do with this, without a shadow of a doubt. Meaning that the mythology of the Greek gods have something to do with it. And that, but with the one William Wheeler being the photographer is very interesting. Is very interesting in this fact and everything else. I'm glad everybody is having a great time rocking with us out here and rolling with us all night and everything else. Truly appreciate it and everything else. All right, we're going to shut it down. 2 hours and 30 minutes is way beyond what I was going to do, but y'all had a good time and I had a good time. So we'll keep it a 2 hour and 30 minutes because people see over that. They never want to go watch it again and stuff like that. Let me thank everybody who called in, everybody who sent the super chat and everything else, anyone who showed the Don Tony Teflon love. We truly appreciate that. Truly miss all of you and everything else. We're going to have Phil the Issues guy in here rocking with us next. We'll catch him up and everything else and all that. Hopefully y'all had a great time. Thank you for rocking with me. And if you like the way I do this, well, let's get this thing pumping the right way. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the round. And of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.